The Lenovo ThinkPad P14s Gen 3 is the mobile workstation sibling to the T14 Gen 3, offering a lightweight workstation running 12th Gen Intel or AMD Ryzen 6000 series processors. Graphics in the Intel variants come in the form of the NVIDIA T550. Will the P14s pack a punch in its compact dimensions? Let's find out. If you've come across ThinkPads before, you know what you're getting in the P14s. It's solid, military standard 810H military tested, well put together with no flex on the display lid or keyboard deck. Design-wise, typical ThinkPad, a shade of grey around the chassis which is made of lightweight magnesium, starting at 1.38 kilograms or 3.05 pounds. It's not the lightest laptop on the market, but you can hold it in one hand for short periods. The bottom of the P14s is primarily ventilation grills to keep it cool. Loosen 7 Phillips captive screws to open the bottom lid. One memory module is soldered to the system board, but there is one upgradable DDR4 SODIMM dual-channel capable slot. Tip: buy the 16GB of soldered-on memory at time of purchase, not the 8GB soldered-on memory configuration, to maximize your upgrade options in the future. Maximum 48GB memory in total. There's one storage drive for up to 2TB of M.2 2280 PCIe X4 NVMe SSD. The 52.5 Wh battery is removable along with the Wi-Fi module card. This review model has a 14-inch WXGA 1920 by 1200 resolution anti-glare display panel. Viewing angles are excellent from the IPS panel. Brightness is rated at 300 nits, fine for indoor usage. Not great if you want to take it outside to use on a bright day. The screen is sharp, clear and crisp. Colour is possible for office or educational work. This shows with a rating of 45% NTSC. Tip: there is an optional 100% sRGB 400 nits panel or the 14-inch WQUXGA 3840 by 2400 IPS touch 500 nits factory color calibration display panel if you want color accuracy for your workflow. On the left we have a gigabit Ethernet port, 2 Thunderbolt 4, 40 gigabits per second supporting data transfer, power delivery 3.0 and display port 2.0, one HDMI 2.0B, one USB Type-A 3.2 Gen 1 and a 3.5mm headphone microphone combo jack. On the right we have a Kensington security lock, a USB Type-A 3.2 Gen 1 always on port and an optional smart card reader. At the rear there is an optional WWAN 4G nano SIM card slot. The wireless card inside is an Intel Wi-Fi 6E AX211 11AX 2x2 plus Bluetooth 5.1. Wireless connectivity was reliable and fast as you would expect, connected to a Wi-Fi 6 or 6E access point. Bluetooth was the same with a reliable connection to external mouse or speaker. The P14s keyboard is spill resistant, nicely spaced out keys with dedicated full-size arrow keys as well as page up and down. There's no numeric keyboard, so that might be a deal breaker for some people. The keyboard feels a bit plasticky, but has nice travel and tactile feedback for rapid touch typing. There's a dedicated F12 key for custom shortcut launching an app, website or folder. F10 and F11 keys are used with Microsoft Teams. Lenovo UK charges £10 extra if you want the keys to be backlit. The smooth Maya-coated touchpad with Microsoft position drivers is great to glide your fingers over. Gestures were accurate and worked well with the integrated mouse buttons. It wouldn't be a ThinkPad without the track point nib with separate mouse and middle scroll buttons. Handy if you're in a tight spot and need to move the pointer. The speakers in the P14s can get loud but lacking bass. The audio is slightly muted, okay for video conferencing or spot of background music streaming. Connect a decent pair of Bluetooth earbuds if you need better audio quality. The webcam is 1080p with IR sensors and a privacy shutter. The webcam video quality is not bad from the 1080p camera, slightly sharper and brighter than the usual 720p webcams you normally find on most laptops. Color accuracy is also improved, one that you can use for frequent Teams calls. Inside this review model, the Intel Core i7-1260P with 12 cores, 4 performance cores running at a base clock of 2.1 up to 4.7 GHz, plus 8 efficient cores running at a base clock of 1.5 GHz up to 3.4 GHz, 16 threads with a TDP rating of 28 watts. Alongside 32GB DDR4 3200 memory and a 512GB of DDR M.2 2280 PCIe X4 NVMe storage drive, the P14s is very responsive in everyday use. Whether you're working in GitHub, Office apps or STEM work, Here are the benchmarking results for the ThinkPad P14s Gen 3. 3D Mark Time Spy results came in with an overall score of 2,468, CPU score of 7,335, and a graphics score of 2,210. 3D Mark Time Spy Extreme overall came in at 1,073, graphics score of 949, and a CPU score of 4,142. PC Mark 10 had an overall score of 6,582. Geekbench 5 multi-core score came in at 8,963 and 1,676 single-core. Geekbench OpenCL score of 35,581. Cinebench R23 testing produced a score of 8,890 multi-core and 1,608 in single-core. Superposition resulted in a score of 4,226. The Intel i7-1260P sits below the AMD Ryzen 7 Pro 6860Z and above the AMD Ryzen 7 5825U in general benchmark results. Running CAD software or benchmarking, the thermals are 38 Celsius, 100 Fahrenheit by the vent, 40.5 Celsius or 105 Fahrenheit by the speaker grill, and 42 Celsius, 108 Fahrenheit in the middle of the keyboard. It is warm to the touch underneath. Fan noise is constantly loud when rendering CAD, not jumbo jet level but noticeable if you're sensitive to noise. Otherwise, in general usage, the P14s stays silent with the fan hardly audible. The target audience of the Lenovo ThinkPad P14s Gen 3 is aimed at the on-the-go professionals, educators, and students for light to medium workloads. The P14s is also aimed at content creators and software developers. As it's a workstation, the GPU is ISV certified. It will run applications like AutoCAD, Rivet, and SolidWorks. The P14s uses an NVIDIA T550 with a 4GB GDDR6 memory based on the Turing architecture, but with no ray tracing support. 1024 cores with a core speed of 1065 to 1665 MHz. Power consumption is 25 watts with a burst of up to 60 watts depending on the manufacturer. The T550 sits below the AMD Radeon 680M and above the NVIDIA GeForce MX450 in general benchmark scores. The T550 will play most older titles in medium to high settings. In newer titles it will struggle. Cyberpunk 2077 will play in low settings only. Similar story with Far Cry 6 where it will run at low frames per second only. Stick to older titles if you want a bit of after-hours entertainment. The ThinkPad P14s has some decent security tools to protect your valuable data and privacy. Fingerprint sensor for authentication, IR camera for Windows Hello, webcam privacy shutter to keep out prying eyes, optional smart card reader, and Kensington Nano security slot, plus a discrete TPM 2.0 security chip. The integrated 52.5 watt-hour battery is good for around 5 to 6 hours of general use. Edge tabs, Office, and Teams calls. Lightweight CAD or coding work under performance mode look at up to 4 hours. The 100-watt USB-C slim power adapter supports rapid charging, 0 to 100% in around 80 minutes. The good, the bad, and the really bad. Good performance. The Intel i7-1260P is not going to render complex CAD drawings, but as an entry-level workstation it provides good performance from the CPU. Ports galore. The P14s has plenty of ports to keep you happy. 2 Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports, HDMI, 2 USB Type-A ports, and a rare gigabit Ethernet port. Memory upgradable. On the Intel variant of the P14s, there is one single SODIMM slot for upgradable memory. The AMD models have soldered-on memory. Average display. The base model has 45% NTSC display panel, which is fine for general office use. Worth paying an extra £20 to get the brighter 400 nits and color accurate 100% sRGB panel instead at the time of purchase. Basic GPU. The NVIDIA T550 is faster than the integrated GPU, but is not really suited for heavy workstation level work. Compare this to the faster RTX A series found in larger mobile workstations like the ThinkPad P16. If you need ray tracing support, look at laptops with the NVIDIA RTX A500 onwards. Fan noise. In performance mode, the fan is constantly on, which is annoying as this impacts fan noise, thermal heat, and battery life. However, as a workstation, you do expect to run this in performance mode all the time, hoping Lenovo will fix this with the BIOS firmware update. There's healthy competition in the value mobile workstation category. What are the alternatives to the Lenovo ThinkPad P14s Gen 3? In no particular order, here's some to consider. HP ZBook Firefly 14 G10 A500, Huawei MateBook X Pro 2022, Asus ZenBook Duo 14-inch MX450, Dell Precision 3480, Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Pro 14-inch, Acer Swift X. The Lenovo ThinkPad P14s Gen 3 is in a strange category, not quite a full mobile workstation in terms of performance from the choice of processor and GPU. It also overlaps the premium business ultrabooks out there, including its cousin the ThinkPad T14 Gen 3. The display is average, so make sure you upgrade to the nicer 400 nits 100% sRGB panel instead. Battery life is poor considering it's aimed at on-the-go professionals. On the plus side, the P14s has a plethora of I/Os, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, LAN port, HDMI, and even 2 USB Type-A ports. The downside is there's no SD card reader or 5G WWAN option. Memory is upgradable on the 1 SODIMM slot, as well as the PCIe x4 SSD. Build quality is still superb, and the keyboard is a joy to type on. If you don't need the Thunderbolt ports or the need to upgrade the memory, the P14s G3 AMD variant will give you better CPU performance. For the same price, you could get the slightly larger HP ZBook Power G9 15.6-inch with a much faster Intel i7-12700H processor and NVIDIA RTX A2000 GPU. In the end, do you want to pay a premium for a 14-inch mobile workstation? What do you guys think? Leave your comments and discuss below. Hope you guys enjoyed the review of the Lenovo ThinkPad P14s Gen 3 Intel laptop. Please click on the like button if you enjoyed this review video and subscribe if you would like to watch more of our tech videos. Thanks for watching. Cheers.